Hello again, I am Blunty, and I like using the Nintendo Switch Joy-Con in their separated state rather more than I had expected to. The exception to this, however, is the two-player experience, where each person gets half, turns it sideways, and it does a rather comical, if reasonably useful impression of a bizarre retro-modern hybrid controller. It works. Well enough, at least, but the lopsided asymmetry caused by the triggers leaves much to be desired in the comfort and feel department. I also believe that some extra thickness, giggity, would help even more with their ability to sink seamlessly into my giant man paws when in single-player mode. To this end, I have already ordered in 4 different third-party products which all attempt to solve these two small issues. The first of which has now arrived. It is called the Grip Kit. It is from a company I've never heard of called Surge, and they are really quite interesting. Unlike most other Joy-Con grips, these ones are not some kind of simple slip-on silicone or rubber sheath. Instead, the Grip Kit is a full-on, hard plastic shell that completely encompasses the Joy-Con. The drawback to this approach, though, is, unlike similar products, these ones can't just be left on the controller, because they completely encase the Joy-Con, including the attachment and charging rails, so they can't slide back onto the console. The huge benefit of doing it this way, though, is you get a truly superb and perfectly symmetrical fit and feel. Now, I am yet to test any of the other grip attachments I've ordered in, but I can already tell you, for two-player mode, these are going to be very difficult to top. They work incredibly well. They also come with a couple of rubber thumbstick pads, which are okay, but for me they didn't seem to actually add anything to the grip or feel of the thumbsticks. I think I'll just leave them in a drawer, but they do come packed in the box, so you might as well give them a go. You may like them more than I. But back to the main shell itself. The small lobes are just big enough to rest amazingly comfortably in the top of my palms, letting my ring and pinky fingers curl under them for support. My middle finger wraps along the indent of the lobes, and my index finger falls rather naturally into place for the bumper buttons. I do wish the bumper buttons were a bit larger. They're basically the same size as they are on the naked Joy-Con. I feel like that is a missed opportunity, but they work. The main body of the shell, in a grey, very lightly textured but quite smooth plastic, feels much like any other controller in fact, and the black glossy frame, while it doesn't feel of particularly high quality, is flexible enough to resist breaking, it feels like, and it snaps into place with a very secure feeling latch. There's even pass-through buttons for the main shoulder and trigger buttons, which you will need, of course, for setting the Joy-Cons into two-player mode in the Switch settings in the first place. A space is also left free for seeing the lights for battery level. In actual use in a game, while you are still stuck with the lopsided and asymmetric layout of this stick and button, suddenly the Joy-Con moved from a bit awkward but functionally useful to actually being a really quite serviceable controller. I was, entirely honestly, completely surprised by just how good they felt. Obviously, 2 Pro controllers are still far superior for the more serious gamer, but if you regularly play 2-player games with friends or family and you'd rather not make the quite significant investment in a Pro controller or 2, the $15 asking price for a pair of these on Amazon is just a no-brainer. They're so good and so inexpensive, I actually think you'd be profoundly stupid for not buying them. These, in my honest opinion, are simply a must-have for folk regularly doing the 2-player Joy-Con thing, especially with Mario Kart looming. They are going to make an incredible difference. But they are utterly useless, of course, for the single-player Joy-Con twin arrangement. In fact, they're horrifically uncomfortable when you even try to use them that way. So if you want something to make that experience better, stay tuned here, as I've already got 3 more options coming in for review. None of which I'm expecting to be better than these at 2-player, but I'm still hoping for a step up in single-player comfort. Thanks for watching, I am Blunty, and I will catch you next time.